Hey everyone, today on People Now, Cena steps up in a big way to support first responders to those California wildfires.
Also today.
Now I know either one of us could like just DM at will.
Emilia Clarke hits it off when she meets Game of Thrones superfan Camila Cabello. What comes next?
It wasn't like a bad break or anything like that. It was just, we were in different parts of our lives right now.
Bachelor star Tyler C. opening up about his breakup with Gigi Hadid.
Alex Trebeks brings so much joy to a family when he calls an autistic fan to wish him well. We'll tell you all about it.
No, Ed, it's what we signed up for.
One Tree Hill star Shantel VanSanten tells us all about playing an astronaut's wife in her new show, For All Mankind.
It's all live today on People Now. Let's go.
Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Welcome to People Now. Great to see you. We're starting today on a sad note with an update on that heartbreaking story of a toddler who died on a cruise ship over the summer. Watch.
Just honestly, to lose our baby this way is just unfathomable.
Really heartbreaking story. The grandfather of a one-year-old girl who fell to her death from a cruise ship in July has been charged with negligent homicide. According to the Associated Press, a judge in Puerto Rico ordered the arrest of Salvatore Sam Aneo on Monday after prosecutors argued that his granddaughter, Chloe Wiegand, fell and died after he lifted her up to an open window on the ship. The 51-year-old has been released from custody and, according to ABC, was held on $80,000 bond. CNN is reporting Aneo is scheduled to appear in court on November 20th. The Puerto Rico Department of Justice did not respond to People's request for comment as of showtime. Chloe tragically died after she fell more than 10 stories onto a concrete dock while in the children's play area of a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. The family has previously disputed accounts that Chloe fell from Aneo's arms. In July, Chloe's parents, Alan and Kimberly, spoke with the Today Show Savannah Guthrie about the bond she shared with her grandfather.
Has he been able to explain to you how this happened?
He was extremely hysterical. The thing that he has repeatedly told us is, I believe that there was glass. He will cry over and over. At no point ever has Sam ever put our kids in danger.
He must be distraught.
Very, very distraught. I mean, you can barely look at him without him crying. She was his best friend.
Impossible to imagine. At the time of their interview with Today, Kimberly said that she thinks Royal Caribbean has to be responsible for the incident, saying, quote, "We obviously blame them. There are a million things that could have been done to make that safer. I know my mom was asking people, why on earth is there a window open on the 11th floor without a screen or anything?" Kimberly claims the ship's staff's response was, "We need ventilation." A spokesperson for Royal Caribbean previously said in a statement to People that they're deeply saddened by the incident and that, quote, "We've made our care team available to assist the family with any resources they need. Out of respect for their privacy, we do not plan to comment further on the incident." That was their quote. The family's attorney, Michael Winkleman, previously explained that Aneo had put her on the ledge of a window in the children's area, unaware that that window was open. Winkleman and the family have previously stated that Chloe was used to being next to glass, had a habit of banging on the panels while attending her brother's hockey games. Winkleman told the Today Show, quote, "She goes to bang on the glass like she would have at one of those hockey rinks, and the next thing you know, she's gone." Just really devastating. We wish them all the best as they deal with this horrifying situation. Let's move on to this. An Alex Trebeks superfan got a surprise he will never forget, a heartwarming phone call from the Jeopardy host himself. When a Brooklyn pulmonary fibrosis survivor, Debbie Stevens, reached out to arrange a phone call between Trebeks and her 32-year-old son with autism, Michael Nieder, Trebeks delivered. In an interview with CNN, Stevens says the call was especially important to her son, who lost his father to cancer 15 years ago. She revealed that the Jeopardy host's battle with pancreatic cancer apparently crushed Michael, which is why she wanted to track down Trebeks. During her speech, Debbie Stevens tells CNN she was able to track down Trebeks' son, Matthew, who owns a restaurant in Manhattan. After getting in touch with the restaurant, she told an employee that she needed to speak with Matthew about a personal matter. And once in touch, Stevens tells CNN that she kept the conversation light and wished his father well before following the call up with a get well card via certified mail and requesting that the Jeopardy host connect with the family because it would thrill her son. Well, a week and a half later, on October 18th, Trebeks actually called. But as luck would have it, Stevens missed the call. But don't worry, that's okay. Trebek left a sweet voice message saying, quote, "This is a message from Michael. My name is Alex Trebek. It's Friday at about 6 o'clock your time. My son Matthew, who has a restaurant in North Harlem, told me that you and your mom had been in contact and you're fans of the show. And I just wanted to thank you for that, and I appreciate it. I hope you're well. Maybe someday, if you manage to get to Los Angeles, you could come to a taping of the program. That would be great. Hopefully, I'll still be around hosting it. Okay, you take care." That was his call, and in tears, Stevens called back Trebek's son, who was able to get him to call again. Both Stevens and her son were able to speak with Trebek for 7 minutes. Stevens says the call wasn't rushed, and Trebek was really concerned and caring for Michael. He asked him about his favorite hobbies, to which Michael responded bowling, Trebek disclosing that he wasn't any good at it. Michael got to talk about his experience going to a live taping of Jeopardy in Madison Square Garden back in 1999. Trebek was smitten, said that he remembered that show, and he told Michael that he was a smart young man and he was happy to speak with him. And Stevens and her son ended that call by wishing Trebek well, telling him they love him, and Trebek told them that he would keep fighting. In an interview with CNN, Michael's older sister, Lisa Stevens, calls Trebek's phone call incredible, saying, quote, "It was very heartwarming that under the circumstances Alex Trebek is going through, that he was able to reach out to one of his biggest fans following his show for many years." Trebek, who's been hosting Jeopardy for 35 years, announced that he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer in March. He tells CNN, quote, "I get these kinds of calls quite often now where somebody who has special needs feels that they would be helped by talking to me, and it's no great imposition on me to tell you the truth. If I'm in a position to do it, I do." And then he added, "They're looking for some kind of reassurance, I think, and if I can provide that, I'm happy to do it. The message I try to get across to all of them is let's agree to be survivors against whatever ailment is afflicting us." As for how he's coping with his diagnosis, he says that he's hanging in there. And on the topic of hosting Jeopardy, he says he's still, quote, "doing his thing." All right, on to John Cena. He plays a firefighter in the new movie Playing with Fire, but in real life, he's supporting first responders to the California wildfires in a big way by donating $500,000 to the cause. Watch.
Right now, California is in dire straits. It is burning. It is under siege from massive wildfires statewide, which means our first responders are working around the clock and they need our help.
In the Twitter video, Cena also calls on Paramount, which produced his new movie, to pick the charity where the money will go. Cena continues on to say in part, quote, "In times like this, when people are giving their lives and working around the clock, what they need from us is resources. This is the right thing to do, and I'm doing my part to help the cause. Please stay safe, and you are our heroes." The Kincaid and Getty fires are continuing to threaten the lives of thousands of California residents, causing evacuations, power outages, and straining the resources of fire departments across the state. Cena's call to action will hopefully ease some of that strain. Cena's new movie, Playing with Fire, is a lighthearted family comedy, tells the story of a group of rugged firefighters meeting their match by babysitting a group of rambunctious kids. The film hits theaters November 8th. That will no doubt be a lot of fun. All right, guys, the countdown is on. Halloween, just 2 days away. Getting some creepy craft ideas from one of the best Halloween costumers out there, David Boehlke. That's coming up later in the show. But just in case you are still trying to figure out maybe a costume, the results happen to be in. The most searched Halloween costumes of 2019 are Pennywise, Spider-Man, Descendants, and Fortnite. Anyone surprised? Are you by any of those?
Not really surprised.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but we want to know, of these top 4, which would you pick? Would you go all out with the clown makeup for Pennywise? Maybe you just want to throw on a bodysuit and be Spider-Man. You could want to dress up as your favorite Descendants character, or maybe you want to dress up as a Fortnite character so you can bust out your best dance moves. Vote in our People poll. Send us your thoughts using the hashtag PeopleNow. Which one would you do of those 4?
I don't know.
I know.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
sure.
Probably me too, of those 4.
We're going to check in a little later on that, but for now, Andrea, you have more for us in Star Treks.
Yes, we are kicking off Star Treks today with some wedding bells. Christy Brinkley's ex-husband, Peter Cook, is headed for the altar again. People has confirmed the 60-year-old Hamptons-based architect recently got engaged to his 21-year-old girlfriend, Alba Janku, with Cook telling us that he and his new fiancée are very happy. He also tells Page 6 in a statement that they consider themselves, quote, incredibly lucky to have found each other, our soulmate, and that they're looking forward to many years of wedded bliss. Page 6 reports that the couple was vacationing in Santorini, Greece on September 15th when Cook popped the question with a 6-carat Glen Bradford diamond ring in front of her church. Cook, who shares daughter Sailor and son Jack with Brinkley, has reportedly been dating Alba for about a year. The pair have recently been photographed out and about together at events in the Hamptons, including Bobby Flay's Hamptons magazine cover celebration in July and the Hampton Classic Horse Show Grand Prix in early September. Alba's now deleted LinkedIn page indicated that she is a current student at Tulane University and expects to graduate in 2021. Prior to her time at the New Orleans College, she attended a prestigious English private boarding school called Millfield, which is located in southern England. Now, this will be Cook's third marriage. He was previously married to Brinkley from 1996 to 2008. They divorced after Brinkley learned of Cook's affair with his then 19-year-old assistant, Diana Bianchi. That's her in the photo here. Now, Cook then got remarried to Suzanne Shaw shortly after his cheating scandal broke, and they split in 2014. After Bianchi came forward in 2007, Cook was also accused of having romantic relations with another former employee, Samantha Cole, who was 18 at the time. He allegedly proposed marriage to her in May of 1996, 3 months before he became engaged to Brinkley, but she declined. There's a lot going on here. Are you tracking along? We're giving you the deep dive here. It was reported that sailor Brinkley Cook struggled with her parents' divorce 12 years ago. It is unclear at this time if she is friendly with Alba, who's the same age as Sailor. Now, Sailor was shown some love on Instagram last month when her father posted a photo of her on Dancing with the Stars, wishing her a happy belated National Daughters Day, and Sailor simply replied saying, "I love you." All right, now we are moving on to this. Take a look.
Video? Whoa! Yo, we're celebrating the new food god name. His name is It's official, bro. You didn't believe me? Ask Posty, bro. Come on. Look at his license.
Is there anyone better than Post Malone to reintroduce yourself to the world? The reality star, formerly known as Jonathan Chabin, has legally changed his name to Food God. Yep, that is right. You may recognize him from Keeping Up with the Kardashians. He's one of Kim's closest friends, and he adopted the name Food God for his Instagram handle a few years ago. But now, according to documents obtained by TMZ, he's gotten the name change approved legally, making it official with a signature from a circuit court judge in his home state of Florida. Now, back in 2017, people confirmed that Chabin was looking to legally change his name to Food God, which is also the name of his brand that includes a food-filled website and social media accounts. A rep for the star told us at the time, quote, "People are constantly screaming Food God as he walks down the street and showing up to restaurants while he is there following his eating adventures. It has become cult-like." That's what they said. At the time, Chabin revealed to Page Six that Kim's husband, Kanye West, was actually the one who originally graced him with the nickname. Pretty cool. Hello, Food God. Those are your Star Treks for today.
I would intentionally board every flight really late so they would have to announce the name over the
Food God?
Right. Food God, last call before the
If
flight.
you had to legally change your name, Jeremy, what would it be?
I'll think about it. I'm pretty happy with Jeremy Parsons. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Stay with us. Emilia Clarke reacts to meeting her famous superfan Camila Cabello over the weekend. Hear what she told us. And we'll be joined live by Shantel VanSanten, star of the new Apple TV Plus series For All Mankind. Cannot wait for all of Apple's new shows. We're going to get all the details on this one in just a bit. Stick around.
All right, Caroline Manzo is ready to give her side of the story after Teresa Giudice insinuated that she was the one that went to the feds while appearing on Sunday night's episode of Watch What Happens Live.
After being shown an old video of Manzo predicting that Joe would go to prison, Teresa had a strong reaction. Watch.
My thing is how could she predict that? Did she have anything to do with what happened to Joe and I? Was she a rat?
Do you think that she did? Do you think she was
by
a rat?
her saying that? Why did she say that? Why? Those words would never come out of my mouth regarding anybody.
What,
anybody.
Do you think she called the feds?
What? Maybe. You never know.
As fans recall, Teresa served a little over 11 months in prison for mail, wire, and bankruptcy fraud, was released in December of 2015. Joe began his 41-month sentence for the same crimes in March of 2016.
Manzo, who has not appeared on the Bravo series since season 5, addressed Teresa's accusations the next day. The matriarch shared a series on Instagram. In the first, she posed with a podcast microphone, tagging her son's podcast account, Dear Albie.
Yeah, she also posted a video to her story with the Whitney Houston song, If You Say My Eyes Are Beautiful, playing. So that's a possible dig at Teresa for her comments at the end of the show. She quoted Sophia Loren and said, "If you haven't cried, your eyes aren't beautiful." Then she added, "These eyes have done a lot of crying. I must have the most beautifulest eyes in the world." That's what she said.
She posted another video directly addressing her fans and making fun of Teresa's grammatical error. Watch.
I don't typically dance and sing this early in the morning, but I have to laugh. And I couldn't find the word beautifulest anywhere. I'm sorry, but you'll be hearing from me soon.
A lot of drama here.
All kinds of subtle and also subtle digs going on.
Teresa had previously accused Manzo and the Real Housewives co-star Jacqueline Larita of being behind the government's investigation into her family's finances. Now, both have denied those claims.
Woo!
You posted. All right, the new movie, Last Christmas, has a lot of fans excited to see Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke teaming up with Crazy Rich Asian star Henry Golding. It's still a couple weeks away, but in the meantime, Emilia Clarke just celebrated her birthday last weekend.
Yeah, breaking Instagram is a thing. Well, she did it with a pic of her, Jason Momoa, and Kit Harington, all from Game of Thrones, of course. Emilia telling me about turning the big 3-3. Happy birthday. What was the biggest takeaway from your birthday celebrations?
33 ain't that bad.
Oh, really?
Nothing to be afraid of. I was fully panicking. Yeah, the day before my birthday, I was literally like, what?
What was your favorite part of the celebration?
Favorite part of the celebration? Okay, so I had a party 2 days afterwards when I actually had a day off that finished around 5:30 in the morning. So that was good. I got my groove on.
And if pulling an all-nighter wasn't enough, she also met Camila Cabello backstage at a UK talk show. Now, turns out Camila is a huge Game of Thrones fan and was blown away. Watch.
Gotta mention this, Camila Cabello
I
bowing down to you on the gram.
Yeah.
Is there going to be
It
a
was
future of
amazing.
hangouts? Have you laid the groundwork for continuing friendship?
I mean, no, but we should. Now I know either one of us could like just DM at will.
Okay.
So that's good. So that's very
but the
good.
DMs haven't happened yet.
They haven't happened yet.
Not
We're
to
busy
say
ladies.
they wouldn't.
Not to say they won't happen.
Okay. I loved the sort of terrible auditions in this movie,
Yeah.
right? Worst auditions for you in real life. Do they ring familiar and true, or what were they?
Yeah, I had this terrible one. I was fresh out of drama school, trying to I was working 6 jobs, trying to pay the rent, usual story, right? And so there I am, and they're like, this is an advert. I'm not gonna say what advert it was for because I don't want to get sued, but it was a particular advert, and they asked me to turn up, and they basically, I swear to God, this was a joke. They were filming, and they basically were talking me through what I had to do, right? And they were like, okay, so you're in your dressing gown, and your boyfriend's come out the shower, and he sits down, and all of a sudden a little man comes out of his belly button and starts dancing, and you're really into it. So I need you to be really into it. So this is me being like, oh wow, look at that, oh, this hot little tiny person coming out of my boyfriend's belly button. And then it's like, and then he starts dancing, so then I have to start dancing. This is all on camera somewhere. It was
terrible. I blame it on the
literally
concept.
was like,
I blame that on the concept.
all right?
Okay.
What am I meant to be?
Henry, how about for you?
Things you have to do.
I think once upon a time, do you remember those Apple ads where they had the headphones?
Yeah,
and
right,
they were,
you're
like,
dancing.
and stuff?
Yeah.
So I went for an audition for it, and
Highbrow.
I cannot, no, but I cannot dance. And so there's me sort of like, and they're like, right, just put so there's no music, they don't give you any music.
Oh no.
And so I had to like,
and so it's just like the guy outside the car dealership, right? Like the fan.
I did not get the call back.
That's really funny. By the way, you can tell there, these two are really great together.
Yeah.
Last Christmas has that magical feel, good vibe for the holiday season. You're gonna love the two of them in this. We have more from those two and the rest of the cast before the movie's release on November 8th.
All right, Tyler Cameron and Gigi Hadid's romance may have come to an end, but he has nothing but respect for his ex. So I sat down with Tyler on PeopleTV's reality check on Monday, and the former Bachelorette runner-up confirmed that he and the supermodel have remained friends since they parted ways this fall. Watch. There were a lot of headlines about you dating a certain supermodel. Paparazzi was following you and everything. I know you're probably not going to want to talk about why it ended or anything, but looking back, what was the best part about that relationship and that time of your life?
It was just meeting someone that was great. She was a great person, and I met a great friend, and she's someone that, you know, I have a lot of respect for and think highly of. So I met a great person.
Yeah, every time I go through a breakup or anything, I always look back and reflect and kind of figure out like what I want moving forward. What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself through that experience?
Through myself, what I learned about myself through that experience, I don't know. I took it as like I met a great person, a great friend. It wasn't like a bad breakup or anything like that. It was just, you know, we were different parts of our lives right now. So what I learned about myself, I don't know. I'm still learning so much about myself every day. Like being in this light is totally different. So I'm still learning.
Would you date someone in the public eye again? Because I know that was a lot.
Yeah, I'm open to dating anybody, public eye or not. So it just in the right time, you know.
Yeah, and you said that you two are friends. What does that friendship look like? Are you texting every day, or is it kind of like when you bump into each other, you're
just
good?
friends. Yeah, whenever we see each other.
Yeah, that's great. He's getting the scoop there.
I know, good. Yeah, good job.
Thank
No,
you.
honestly, I felt like he was very comfortable with you and talking about it. It's not something that he's talked a lot about.
No, he
so-
really hasn't talked
Yeah.
about it much.
Yeah, Cameron and Hadid were first linked in late July when astute social media users noticed the two followed each other on the gram. Boy, if that isn't a sign from the heavens. They were spotted, though, together at the Soho House in Brooklyn on August 4th in a photo from an onlooker that surfaced on Twitter. Later in August, Cameron and Hadid were seen driving around New York City together, with Hadid behind the wheel, Cameron taking a nap in the passenger seat. Things really heated up, though, between the pair when Gigi brought Tyler C. along to the Republic Records party in New York City after attending the MTV Video Music Awards. Now, according to E! News, Taylor Swift gave Tyler C. a big hug when he arrived with Hadid, and then Tyler and Gigi shared a little kiss.
In early September, the pair seemingly confirmed their status as a couple. They were photographed attending the funeral for Hadid's grandmother, who died from complications due to cancer. Cameron even sweetly consoled Hadid as she kept him close by her side with her arm wrapped around his waist. But they have broken up now, as we heard in that clip. I had a lot of fun with him. He was really down to earth. We obviously went in the photo booth, had a little
The new
fun
PeopleTV
there.
photo booth.
Yeah.
By the way, perfectly coordinated, too.
Yeah.
A little matchy match.
He has a lot going on. He talked about his dad. So, you know, if you saw The Bachelorette, his dad was having some health complications, but he said his dad's in great health. The best he's been in 6 or 7 years. He's visiting him, you know, this week. So that was really cool. He's also doing the marathon this weekend.
You know what I've always loved about him from early on? He does so much work with ABC Foods and that charity stuff. And he's been a champion of that, even as he was just rising to fame. And he's continued throughout his sort of like epic new platform via The Bachelor and Gigi.
You've always been a big Tyler C. stan.
Let's just say that guy's got a grip too. The handshake, it's like he leaves an impression.
Great everything. So it was cool to talk to him.
All right, last week we gave you a little peek into what Neil Patrick Harris, David Boehlke, and the whole fam are planning for this year's epic Halloween costume. All eyes are on them every year. Let's see. I mean, look at some of these past costumes.
Yeah,
they nail it.
very epic. When David stopped by, he also shared 3 of his Halloween cooking, crafting, and decorating favorites. Since we're only 2 days away, we are sharing them with you in case you need a little help getting into the spooky spirit. Watch.
You bought 3 Halloween-themed ideas with you. Let's start with this scary eyeball thing that
This is great. I teamed up with this great company called Gardein. It's all plant-based, all prepackaged. They got chicken fingers, meatless meatballs, porkless bites, all this really great stuff, all non-GMO, no artificial flavors, soy-based. These are the meatless meatballs. They taste just like meatballs. They're very meaty in texture and they have the really great meat feel, but they're not, you're not gonna heavy weight you down and all of that. But I put a slice of mozzarella cheese on it and an olive, and you look like spooky eyeballs. Look at that.
Oh, it's
My
really
question is, what if you don't like olives?
You don't have to do it.
All right, next up, spooky centerpiece.
This is so fun and easy. Get your kids involved. Get a lighted flame. No, just kidding. You want to do this by yourself. So you want to get the flame go with this. You want a candle that's red all the way through. And this is what, like a 50 cents at a store, and this is less.
Yeah.
So all you're gonna do is want to drip the candle wax. Right?
Do this with maybe
you
your
gotta let it-
significant other. It could be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dirty. This is great for, you know, kids parties.
Okay.
You get your kids involved. They'll
Yeah,
love
fun.
this. So each take a piece. Yeah, you can fold it like that.
Okay.
Take a half a piece, and then what you're gonna wanna do is we have all these fun things in front of us here. So we're gonna take a tattoo, a witch's finger with a ring. So just take a little bit of each. You know, an eyeball, a scary little candy. So then all you do,
So then you just wrap it around it.
wrap it around it. You take some green tape. You wrap it around.
You and the family are very healthy, kind of follow a fresh food diet.
Yeah.
But what happens with Halloween with all the candy and the chocolate? How do you navigate that?
I eat it.
Yeah.
Because it's that time of the year.
Would you have limits for your kids?
Yeah, I think, you know what, I think everything in moderation in our house, and we let our kids go a little crazy on Halloween and a couple days after it, but after a while, they don't go for it. You know, we watch a movie, they get a little cup of candy.
This is really great. Look at
Yours
that.
is way better than mine.
That's beautiful.
So then, look, you take your pen and make your face, make your jack-o'-lantern face. Look at that.
Oh.
since you're a pro parent at this point, you're a few years ahead of me, a couple years ahead of me. My oldest is 7. What's your attitude about the cell phone stuff? I don't.
No.
When do they get them? I don't.
No.
Okay, I don't. I'm asking when do they get them?
Absolutely not.
Social media. When do they get on there?
No. I shut that stuff down so fast.
Okay.
Anytime there's a cell phone, it's like end of discussion. No way.
Over.
You don't.
Okay.
You are too young for a cell phone.
Okay.
Unless you're riding the bus alone or something like that, then you get a cell phone.
Yeah, because they're in 3rd grade.
3rd grade.
Right?
No
Yeah.
need for a cell. What do you need a cell phone in 3rd grade?
No, you're right. Unless it's like you said, riding a bus alone, something to call someone.
No, you're way too young for a
3rd
cell
grade
phone.
can be.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Are you helping with their homework? 3rd grade math can be pretty.
Yes,
tricky.
the homework's no joke. Already.
Yeah. Well, I've got a 2nd grader, and I've said I'm good for maybe 3 more years, and then she's gonna just take off, and I'm done with the homework.
Math has already changed.
No, I know. Yeah.
I try to do math. They're like, we don't do it that way.
Thank you for letting us
being
cry.
here.
My pleasure. We appreciate it. It's good to
Happy
talk to you.
Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
I loved him. He was so much fun. All right, speaking of Halloween, we've been asking you which of this year's most popular costumes you would pick in our People poll. Let's take a look. I'm actually curious.
Pennywise.
Ugh, a lot of clowns running around though.
But that's,
The
you know,
clown- it's so scary though.
Yeah, it is.
That's the most frightening of those.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have a lot of Pennywise. You're
I'm
gonna probably have a lot of Joker. It's gonna be there are a lot of clowns.
A lot of clowns.
This year.
Clowns are
Watch
scary,
out.
everybody. You know what? I'm surprised I keep being distracted because I feel like there should be a skeleton on there, right?
You think I actually have seen a lot of skeletons.
I'm doing a skeleton this weekend, so I feel
you're
like
already
it
gonna
should
tell you
be.
what you're doing? You're not gonna make it a surprise?
Oh, sorry, guys. Wow, ruined it. I mean, I'm barely even doing anything. And it's all the kids now. Anyway, guys, I'm a dad. All right, keep voting. For now, we move on to this. Watch.
It's just, I can't. Ed, I can't get another phone call that your plane was shot down. I mean, every time the phone rang, my heart just fell.
I could have gotten killed just as easily going up on town.
Yeah, well, at least you weren't being shot at.
That's what I signed up for, Karen.
No, Ed, it's what we signed up for. Remember?
All right, Shantel VanSanten stars as Karen Baldwin, a wife of an astronaut in Apple TV Plus's new show For All Mankind.
Now, the show takes place in an alternate reality where the Soviets beat us to a moon landing and the space race continues. Could you imagine that happening?
No.
It's a really cool premise here. Chantel is now here to talk all about it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
By the way, big night last night.
Yeah.
For you and some of your castmates, right? At the
morning show premiere. Yeah, we had our premiere we were the first one that premiered a week and a half ago.
Right.
And then C, and then Dickinson, and then morning show. So we've all been supporting one another. And last night, all of us girls from the cast have been in New York doing press, and we all banded together to support women making wonderful TV.
What was the
Right.
standout from last night's experience?
Oh, goodness.
Any encounters with Jennifer Aniston or anyone like that? I don't know.
No, one of us almost started our dress on fire because there was these beautiful candles everywhere at Lincoln Center. That was really the standout, was saving her from starting
Oh,
the dress.
no.
Oh, my goodness.
Did the candle almost tip over? Oh, gosh.
She had like a tulle dress. But
That would have been quick.
it would have, I mean, would have,
Goodness.
you know.
Glad crisis averted here.
It really was.
You've got a personal connection to the show, I hear. You went to
Yeah.
NASA headquarters back in the
well, no,
day,
yeah,
and a
I-
teacher really inspired you about
I did.
NASA?
I did. I grew up going to school in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
So most people take field trips to the zoo, and we took them to NASA. And every year we went, and any chance I got, I would ask my parents to take me. And there's something about being a kid and looking up in big Texas skies and gazing at stars that makes you dream and wonder about something larger than yourself, or going into the unknown and discovery. And there's a great photo that I won't spoil, but on the day of the premiere, I've been holding on to it for such a long time. And it's of me at NASA, and there's like this moment. And it's this beautiful full circle thing to be on a show that now centers around NASA. And I've been inside Mocher before Mission Control in Houston, and we recreated it down to the ceiling, tile dimension. Everything was like it was back in 1960.
I went to space camp back in the day in
Did you?
Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah, and I almost threw up in one of those spinny things and never wanted to be an astronaut, so we're different.
Yeah, I'm like dive out of airplanes, like give me any sort of, I mean, people ask me like, would you go to space? I'm like, yes. The 6 and 7 and 8-year-old in me screams yes every time.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and you have a funny story about the audition and also getting the call and where you were. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, I felt like what was the worst audition ever, and I left and said I was going to quit and forget about it. And I had like this 3-page monologue that I did, and I went to the Space and Science Museum in Los Angeles and went and looked at dinosaurs and was standing underneath the shuttle that's in the Space and Science Museum, and I got a phone call, and my manager and my lawyer were on, and they said, "You got the show."
No way, you got the call under the shuttle.
Yep, and that's also subsequently where we had a wrap party. It was, I'm telling you, there's so many moments where you're like, this is so meant to be, and it's such fate. And although Karen Baldwin does not become an astronaut, that's not a spoiler. She is an astronaut's wife. I get to live vicariously, and as I hear, the suits are atrocious. So I think I lucked out. I just get pointy bras, which feel very constricting.
What did you think went so wrong about the audition, though? Because clearly you nailed it.
You know, sometimes as actors, I think you overthink, or you get notes. I was in with the director, and I think sometimes you get notes and you just feel like you didn't do well, or maybe they were just so entranced, but in my mind they were like, okay, cool, thanks. And you're like, I just cried my heart out and gave you what I felt. Okay, cool, that was terrible.
Zero affirmation or anything.
Okay, all right, thank you. Have a great day. I'm quitting. You're walking across the lot, and you know, I've dreamed of working on the Sony lot where they used to film Wizard of Oz, and there's a rainbow, and you know, there's all those moments, and it's a dream come true. The show is really something special.
I love hearing stories like that. It's inspiring to hear a story like that of things really coming together and feeling like there's a real purpose and meaning to it. In this show, there's this the sort of topic of the reintegration of the astronauts back into their family life after a mission. What are some of the things they faced that you learned about through this experience?
Goodness, I mean, I learned so much. I was so humbled by, you know, we take a label and we think, okay, you play an astronaut wife. And we think we know what that means. But when you actually place it in real life stakes of going to the moon and saying goodbye and your husband is strapping himself to rocket fuel, AKA a bomb, to go into space. And what that means and how many things can go wrong and what's at stake, and knowing that you're doing something like the program was so much bigger than just one individual or the United States. It was for the world. And I think some of that really hit home for me, understanding the stakes. And yes, the integration, but also the ones that were left behind that were, you know, down to mowing the lawn and maintaining the home and raising the child and doing everything so they never had to worry emotionally whether or not there was stability to come back to and integrate back to. And I'm sure the things that we got to speak to astronauts, and I sat in on these meetings because I wanted to see their stories and integrate them for myself as though it would have been my husband. And they always say the biggest moment was to look back at Earth, and it's just this small marble, and to realize how little and finite everything really is.
It's been such a cool experience talking to them. Of course, we have to talk about this. Fans remember you from One Tree Hill, playing with Quinn James.
Remember
now,
in love.
these days, these days, obviously, revivals all the rage.
Yes.
Everything's getting rebooted. Any chance of one for One Tree Hill?
I don't know. You know, it's always one of those things. We have the best fans from it, and they always throw around the idea and their desire, and to which I say, all of us girls have this group chat. I say, how about fans submit scripts or ideas, and then all of us girls will decide and compile this incredible script, and we'll produce and direct it. How about that? I think it would be incredible. Like for the fans to give us these ideas of where the characters are now and to let it be their show, because it's always been their show. That's the thing, is the fan base we have is what allowed it to go on for 9 years, and that love, I feel like, would be the best gift back.
And by the way, that would make it stand out in a sea of reboots as something really unique. Do it, we'll be watching.
Do it.
You share a really personal story about your grandmother on your Twitter bio, and about your grandmother's battle with lung cancer and everything she went through. What was her advice for you on your journey and for your journey?
Always to be authentic. I had the most beautiful last 6 months of her life, from diagnosis till when she passed. I lived in a hospice, I took care of her. Her initials are now on my wrist forever, so that I can share her story, because she was a non-smoker. And she died from radon, and radon is something that can be mitigated. So for me, the biggest thing was she wanted to inspire people. She was from a town of 42 people. And now I get to tell her story and inspire people and save lives just because of what she went through. But her biggest thing was to always be authentic. Like, remember your roots, always be humble, and, you know, fight for those who can't fight for themselves.
Really great words of advice, for sure.
What do you think your grandma would say about where you're at right now and all your success?
I had a moment when I went to go, she was at my very first big movie premiere, and it just so happens, another full circle moment, that For All Mankind premiered at the same theater. And I walked up and I thought about, she was there with me with my grandfather, and I thought about them being there, and it was this beautiful moment of knowing that she was. Yeah, I mean, she dazzled at all of this. She didn't understand at all what I did or the world. She just wanted to see pictures and hear stories.
I love all of your stories, and I love the way you speak about your work and your family. It's really inspiring. Thank you for sharing with us
Yeah,
today.
thank you guys for having me.
Guys, you can catch Shantel VanSanten on For All Mankind when it premieres on Apple TV Plus November 1st. All right, this holiday season, People Now partnering with Lifetime for our Holiday Everyday series. Every week, we're bringing you a new segment that focuses on holiday hacks, traditions, delicious food, and more.
It's all brought to you by Lifetime. Treat every day like Christmas with 24/7 holiday movies. It's a wonderful Lifetime all season long.
All right, the holidays can be the most wonderful time of the year, but as we all know, they can also be bewildering, stressful, a lot of awkward as well.
Yes, so we're calling in reinforcements. Lifestyle expert and author of the NSFW-ish newsletter about sex, love, and relationships, Maria Del Russo, has the do's and don'ts to survive the toughest holiday situations. Check it out.
People gearing up to meet their significant other's parents.
Yes.
For the first time, and
Yes.
the families. What are the do's and don'ts?
So a lot of people, the first thing that they'll ask is, what do I wear? And a lot of people will say you should wear a skirt, or you should wear this, or you should wear that. I don't agree with any of that.
Okay.
You should wear what is comfortable for you. Do wear something that is comfortable.
Be the most you.
Be the most you, but like slightly elevated and
Yeah.
polished, right? So like if the you is cargo pants, maybe don't wear those. If the you is like a low cut shirt, maybe err on the side of something a little bit more modest. So I like to say you, but polished.
Okay.
Do you bring a gift when you're meeting? You always do. Okay,
So
I failed.
it's a yes and a no. So it's a yes and a no, right? So if you're going to their house, absolutely bring a gift. I always like to do a bottle of wine, a bouquet of flowers, you know, maybe something homemade if you're going for dinner and you're a good cook. Again, if you're not a good cook, don't go ahead and like bake a pie from scratch and bring it over. But if you're meeting them at a restaurant or anywhere outside of their home, don't bring anything, because then what do you do with it?
Right.
You're asking them to hang on to something all day.
Something else in terms of do's and don'ts. It can be really weird to walk into an environment, you're meeting them for the first time, they don't know maybe how affectionate you are with each other, so the PDA, you might like put the brakes on.
You kind of want to put the brakes on a little bit, right? Especially if you and your partner are very comfortable, like kissing in public or doing any of this stuff. Hand holding is fine, make-out sessions are not.
First of all, do you have to go?
Yes, you do have to go. It is a networking event. It is kind of a thing where you show up, solidarity, all that type of stuff. It would look worse if you didn't go. But so at least like an hour and a half to 2 hours is kind of the minimum that I tell people that you should probably show face.
Okay.
Mix, mingle, have a drink. You know.
Okay, well you say have a drink,
Yeah.
so work holiday parties usually do have alcohol.
Yes.
What are your guidelines for handling that situation?
Yeah, so do drink if you want to, but do also kind of mix in some water. Give yourself a 3-drink maximum. Avoid shots, avoid anything crazy like that.
For sure.
What if your boss offers you shots?
I mean, I'm kind of the opinion that like you can kind of make a joke of it, and if you do have the one shot, then only have one other drink after the fact. You know, like you know your limits, just kind of stay within those parameters.
General rule is kind of like, this is not the place to go all out and have the night of my life.
A lot of people always ask me, well, what if I do go over the top, and what if I do drink too much and I can't really remember? You don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, so I always like to say, before you go and apologize to anyone, talk to a trusted friend and be like, did I go a little crazy, or did I just get a little drunk and dance a little bit? If you did go a little over the top though, like nip it in the bud, go seek out your boss and apologize first. Don't wait for them to come to you.
A little apology will never hurt anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're home for the holidays, you're getting a drink or coffee, you're out of town, and you run into an ex. And maybe things didn't end well.
No.
What are the do's?
I always say, do talk to them, don't try to avoid them. Keep it light and bright though. Hey, how are you? How are things going? Do not retread old territory. Do not talk about anything from the past. If you see the situation kind of sliding in that direction, quick and easy out. Like, be like, Mom needs me to bring home this stuffing. I have to go. I promised her a latte. Just find a very easy way to get out of the conversation. I also tell people, don't brag about like any other accomplishments. I know that
it's too obvious.
It's so obvious. I would love to see my ex and be like, oh, well, my new boyfriend is X, Y. No, not a good time for it. You don't need their validation.
You are given a gift, don't have one. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
This happens all the time to people around the holidays. I always say just be extra thankful. Don't lie and say that you have a gift for them. It's completely transparent. A lot of time people don't give you a gift expecting one in return. A nice thank you and just be extremely gracious is really all that you need.
And then is it the kind of thing that maybe after the fact, like don't say it, but then maybe later you send something like a thank you card and maybe accompany it with something?
I just think a gracious thank you in the moment is enough. And then just remember them for next time.
But I've heard like you're supposed to tip your doorman. Or people you should tip that. Sometimes you're not even aware that you're supposed to be doing those things. So who are the people that we should be tipping or giving gifts to that we aren't?
I always try to keep like the people who kind of make my life a little bit easier in mind, right? So your mail carrier, just leave a little extra tip in their mailbox. Your building super, if you have one. Your hairstylist, give them a little bit of an extra tip. Those types of people, it doesn't have to be anything over the top. And if money is weird for you, I always say just like a heartfelt card and like something, a cute little trinket, a little bit of candy or something like that is going to mean so much more than something extravagant.
You know what, one year, my wife and I remember it was that kind of thing where it snuck up on us and we're like, oh my gosh, all this money. And she made really delicious cookies and made this little like cookie thing, like treat bag, and ended up giving that to like the doorman and different people. And we even acknowledged like, sorry, there's not more. But it was just kind of like, hey, really appreciate you.
And honestly, I'm sure they appreciated that just as much as they would have like a fistful of cash. You know, it's just so heartfelt and so thoughtful and just, it's cheesy, but it is the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Where's the bathroom? Be right back.
You lost or something?
No, looking for the bathroom.
But ain't no bathroom back there, but you know that.
Okay. I was looking for like a VIP room.
VIP, we ain't in Manhattan, mi chula. We don't got velvet robes up in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I was looking for the bathroom.
Yeah.
Ooh, intense. Missy Peregrine has been playing strong female characters for nearly 2 decades, so it was no surprise when she took on the role of Special Agent Maggie Bell on CBS's FBI.
So considering what's going on in our country right now, FBI in the headlines quite often, playing an FBI agent seems pretty relevant. So will today's political climate influence any of Season 2's storylines?
We've kind of been shying away from that stuff to a certain degree just because we're not really a political show.
Right.
The point is to show what the FBI agents actually do, what we deal with, what they contribute to this country. So scandal is not really on the top of our list of entertainment.
What are some of the storylines coming up that you're excited for fans to see?
I think it's more the characters that we have on our show now. It's fun in the second season. So we've got John Boyd, who's joined us, and also Alana De La Garza, and they're really fantastic. And so we're having a lot of fun working together. Our dynamics have shifted a bit because the storylines are, every week you have a different storyline, and we kind of wrap everything up. What's fun is tracking the characters and how they deal with it together.
Yeah, so much going on in these stories. Missy has some experience bringing people to justice. You might remember her as Andy McNally, a police officer on the Toronto-based show Rookie Blue.
So playing a cop and an FBI agent are both physically demanding roles, but what are some differences? Plus, was FBI training more or less intense than playing a gymnast in the iconic movie Stick It? You might be surprised.
I know what I'm doing as an FBI agent. And as a rookie cop, I was constantly blindsided and was playing younger, which was perfect because I was younger and had no idea what it would be like to be a cop.
So that was easy.
Now, it kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, I was grateful for it because even just the first day working on Rookie Blue, like trying to put my gun away, missed my holster 80 times. You know what I mean? Like go to like talk in the walkie, it's over here.
Yeah.
So all that stuff was
things you would actually go
gold.
through.
And I'm like, no, I just have no idea what I'm doing.
How rigorous was the training for FBI?
Honestly, not that crazy. We didn't have time to do that in the same way, and also because of Rookie Blue and playing that for so long, really we just do everything on set.
Yeah.
Stunts, we learn right before we do it. Dan the man, who's ex-FBI, he's on set with us. He makes sure that we look like we know what we're doing.
You can call.
So really, he's just like, Missy, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So he'll tell me how to enter a room properly, what the protocol is. So I'm kind of learning all the time.
How was training for this different than training for Stick It?
Stick It was 6 months? No, 4 months of training every day, almost 8 hours. And yeah, I was very happy when the movie was over.
Wow.
It was amazing,
Yeah,
but it
but that's
was
intense.
not sustainable. So yeah, very different because I trained for 4 minutes when I'm at work.
It's almost like at that point you have that bar in your mind of how rigorous the other thing was, so almost everything would probably fall
I thought I was
down
going
that
to be an
list.
Olympian after
Yeah.
Stick It. I was like, I'm going to represent Canada. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm going to quit acting and that's it. I'm an Olympian.
Yeah.
No.
Still time, right?
Yeah.
Dick Wolf is the creator of FBI and another little show you might have heard of, Law and Order SVU.
Oh, yeah, that little thing.
Now, Missy played an investment banker accusing her client of sexual assault on SVU. So was that one episode her audition for FBI?
Apparently. I mean, it wasn't intentional. I wasn't trying to get a show off of that, but it was a pretty amazing experience to go and work on that. And Alex Chappell was directing it. I knew him from Rookie Blue. He got me on that show. And then a year later, I was offered FBI because of that experience.
So you didn't even audition for FBI?
No. I
feel like it's very rare.
It is very rare. It's the whole story is rare that you would have that experience. But that's what's cool about this industry is that you just never know where the next thing is going to come from.
And joining Dick Wolf's world, did he have any advice for you?
Yeah, don't mess it up.
Nail it, because there's a lot of people that are waiting.
Yeah, no, I think everybody's excited to do the show. Everybody, especially for an actor, the longevity of these shows is pretty great. So it's fun to be able to have an opportunity to continue working with each other. That's the hope.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have to work really hard to get there and make the show great, but they know what they're doing, so it's nice to be working with people who've been doing it a long time.
Sometimes the world is so beautiful, The laughter of a friend, a newborn baby gripping your finger. Life is all so fragile. You blink, it's gone, just like that.
Woof, New Amsterdam Season 2 is in full swing after that dramatic season finale. Spoiler alert, in the first episode back, we find out that Dr. Max Goodwin's wife tragically does not survive the crash. Such a heartbreaking moment for fans of the show.
Janet Montgomery, who plays Dr. Lauren Bloom, told us her very relatable reaction to reading the script for the first time.
I was really upset because I love Lisa, who plays Georgia, and also I was really rooting for the couple, and it felt just really sad to me that he was going to be this single father, and I was kind of worried, how is this going to make the next season? And yeah, I was sad about it.
Now, we're still not over it, but looking ahead to the rest of Season 2, we got the inside scoop from Janet on what we can expect.
I spoke to one of the writers. I don't know if I'm allowed to say
I
this.
think
I'm
you
just
are.
going to say it. Well, I spoke to one of the writers because I really wanted to explore some more of Bloom's family outside of the job. And she had an episode where she spoke about her upbringing. And I do think that there may possibly be one of them entering the show at some point.
Interesting. Little writer's chat goes a long way around here.
Didn't hear it from me.
Well, speaking of expanding families, Janet and her partner Joe Fox welcomed a baby girl together back in March. Sunday, Juno Fox, who Janet loves to bring with her to set.
I'm so lucky in my job that I can have her up in my dressing room with the nanny, and I can, you get little breaks throughout the day, whether they're like turning around on a shot, and I just get to go up and get my fix of her and then go back to work. And I feel like actually every mum should get the opportunity to have their kids close by. It should be something that the government help happen. Otherwise, how can you have equality?
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Who from the cast is most excited to see Sunday when you bring her?
Oh, everybody is. I swear, I would say when I had her, they were all clamoring to come over and meet her. I'd say Ryan is he's pretty baby obsessed and he has to do quite a lot of work with babies. was the most, Anna Palm as well. Anna Palm is definitely a baby person, but partly I think he just likes to do like Instagrams with her and like, good stories.
It's like my feed blows up.
Yeah, he
with these
does.
pictures. Yeah.
Well, Ryan does get to work a lot with babies. I think it was the last episode, just the cutest baby ever. Would you ever be okay with Sunday kind of stepping in? No.
No, I mean, if she wants to be an actor, like when she's older, then I'll cross that bridge when we get to it, and maybe it would be good for her. But as a baby, I just don't.
You're not ready to plop her in.
No, I don't think I know. It's not for me.
Everyone knows being a new parent can be hard, so we asked Janet what parenting advice stuck out most to her before her baby girl arrived.
I think the best advice that I heard was everything. It's like holding a mirror up to yourself. So figure out like how to be okay with yourself and how you talk to yourself pretty quickly when you, especially if you're having a girl, because there's such a, you say silly things as a woman a lot, like you say, oh, I look fat in this or whatever, and it's like you have to be so careful of how you talk to yourself because your neurosis and your hang-up will become your daughter's. So that for me has really stuck with me.
Yeah. It's funny, we always hear, and even as a parent, the things that surprise you, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know how to do this, or I'm not good at this. But was there something that has come through that you've been like, wow, you know what? I'm nailing this particular part of being a parent?
Well, I was really worried about the breastfeeding, and I was like, I didn't care if I did it or not, but I was like, oh, is it gonna hurt? It really stressed me out a bit. And I had a difficult birth. I ended up having like an emergency C-section. But the first time I held her, she just like went on like a Pac-Man. And like suddenly I was breastfeeding, I was like, oh, this is really easy.
Just
so
latched
everything, my whole pregnancy, I was sick. My birth was terrible, but like that part was really easy. So
wow, good for you.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I'm a natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you heard, Janet had to undergo that emergency C-section after 22 hours of labor, but she explains that she didn't realize how severe the situation had gotten. Yeah.
Surprisingly, it wasn't as terrifying as you would think because I wasn't aware how bad things were. My doctor stayed really calm, and I really thought this was amazing. And he sort of spoke to us and he said, now the heart rate is dropping, and you've got this fever now, so we have to do this. So we just think it's better if we just do the C-section now. Like I was like, okay, whatever you think. It wasn't like, oh, like no one was manic, and I found that really fascinating because I work, playing in a hospital, and I was like, interesting that they kept so calm, and it really worked for me. I didn't realize until afterwards that something scary was happening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bedside manner, right? It changes
and
everything.
An interesting full circle too of what you do as an actress and then being there in that position.
Yeah. Well, Joe said he knew something was wrong because 4 or 5 different people came in and all looked at the same thing, and then they talked, and then one came over and he was like, uh-oh. Yeah. Whereas I was just like, high on epidural, so.
Right, yeah, having time of your life.
Yeah.
Right. She was really great opening up about everything, and such an accomplished actress.
Yeah.
Fast fact from behind the scenes. Afterwards, I was talking about, I observed how perfect her eyebrows are.
She has great eyebrows.
Right? I've got some thick eyebrows. I noticed the brows. And she told me she doesn't even trim those things or anything. That's just how they are. All natural.
Now you know.
Coming up tomorrow, everyone, we're joined live by Stranger Things star Gaten Matarazzo. He's got a new gig hosting Netflix's new show, Prank Encounters.
Plus, country singer Kelly Bannon has a new album out. We're going to ask her all about it. Thanks for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from the stars of A Cinderella Story, Christmas Wish. It's Laura Morano and Greg Selkin. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Laura Morano.
And I am Greg Solkin, and this is One Last Thing.
The last country I visited was Canada.
The last country I visited was...
You just went all over.
I've been around, but Capri in Italy was realistically the last country I visited.
Well, Italy.
Yeah. Italy.
I want to be. The last show I binged was Hulu's The Act.
My mom is my best friend. All she wants to do is keep me safe.
It's Depressing, but Joey is so good.
She's so good, it's unbelievable.
The last show I binged was The Spy. Have you seen The Spy?
I keep hearing
Gotta
about
watch it.
I hear it's so good.
So good.
This is the opportunity for me to give you the life that I promised you, Daddy.
The last time I laughed out loud was just every second that I'm with Laura.
Stop it! The last one of Bliss was a minute ago because I realized I was with my friend Greg.
Yeah, thank you. This morning, overlooking Central Park, and that was really cool.